I did that thing again where I started the stream and I started talking and then I forgot to turn the microphone on because because I'm dumb. So welcome. Let's start all of that again. Luckily, it was only a couple minutes this time. Once I did it for like 20 minutes. It was ridiculous. Anyway, welcome to the show. It has been a day, y'all. And I am very glad to be back doing this today instead of like freaking out over everything I've been freaking out about. A couple quick announcements. One, you may notice in the corner there is a donation goal. Hi, Kat. Good to see you. Always a pleasure. I was just talking about my new donation goal. I have a donation goal, right? Wherever it is. So the external hard drive that I used to keep all of my 3D printing minis on, all of the files so that I can 3D print these awesome minis that I've been painting, it died. It has died a terrible death. It is no longer working in any way, shape, fashion, or form. So, hence, we have a new donation goal. The goal is there to replace the hard drive and to pay to take it somewhere to have as much data as I can saved on it, because it wasn't just my 3D printing stuff on there. There was a lot of other stuff on there too. And I would very much like to rescue that as best as possible. But to do that, I'm going to have to not be a poor person. So, there are two ways you can donate to the cause. One, you can... Actually, you know what? There will be three ways that you can donate to the cause. One, you can go to twitch.tv/dungeonbrush, which is where you should be watching this, but you may be watching this other places as well, and I can't, fault you for that. But if you want to click the donate button to donate to the cause through Twitch, you'll need to go to Twitch and to the page, and then click the great big donate button in the bottom of the About section. The second way that you can donate to the cause is in the little scrolly bar here, the little scrolling marquee. You will see a Venmo. You can donate to the Venmo to also help secure this data transfer and saving hard drive nonsense. You can also, the third way would be to go to my Amazon wish list, which is on also on Twitch in the About section for the channel. I have an Amazon wish list there, and there is a new hard drive on the wish list. You can buy the hard drive through that, and it'll just get mailed to me, or you can donate to the donation goal right there, or you can donate to the Venmo to help me get a new hard drive and help me restore the hundreds of miniatures that I had on that hard drive that I no longer have access to. So that's that. That's our donation goal. It's right there. You can see it. Every time somebody clicks on the donate button to donate, that's going to get a little bing, a little bit more full. And if we can get to that goal, if we can get to that $100 goal, because it's going to be $50-$60 to get a new hard drive, and it's probably going to be, I don't know how much to have the data restored. So I just spitballed at $100. If we can get to that $100, we are going to do something fun. I haven't decided what yet, but I'm open to suggestions. I might, instead of painting a mini, maybe I'll do a face painting thing. Or maybe I'll give you a tour of my gray pile of shame, all the 40K minis that I have owned for a decade and not painted. Or maybe I will let you guys pick what mini I paint next. Or maybe we'll do another giveaway. I don't, I'm open to suggestions. Y'all talk to me about it. Anyway, moving forward though, we do have some minis to paint today, even though the one I wanted to paint today mysteriously broke somehow. So I'm having to reprint it. I had to re-find it, re-download it, re-support it, re-slice it, and then print it. So now it's printing. It should be done probably right around the time the stream ends. So that's working. So in the meantime, we're going to paint some other stuff that I just kind of pulled off my shelf, all willy-nilly and randomly. As it turns out, today's episode of Dungeon Brush is brought to you by the letter M and the color brown, because we are going to be painting some mimics and a minotaur. We got 2 mimics here and a minotaur. The mimics are from WizKids, Nalzer's Marvelous Miniature line. They're pre-primed miniatures that I reprime. And then the minotaur is from Reaper. It's part of the Reaper Bones line. Very cool little plastic mini guy. I love minotaurs. I don't know why, but I love minotaurs. So we're going to be painting a lot of brown and a lot of things that start with the letter M today. And I think I'm just going to start with this mimic right here. This mimic, he's a barrel. He's pretending to be a barrel, and now he's all snarly and trying to eat you. I haven't even really given these minis a really good look to see what they're about. So, what could possibly go wrong? It's like I said, it's been a day, y'all. It has been a day. Anywho, so let's go ahead and get cracking. And I want to start with a very light brown. I want our barrel boy here to be kind of a reddish brown, but not a dark brown. So I think we're gonna start with a little Mornfang brown base, and we're just gonna get him dressed up nice and brown to start. Oh, that brush is fucked up with paint. Ooh, haven't been taking very good care of my brushes. That is upsetting. Anyway, we'll use this one instead. It's just been little stuff like that all day. Just hey, this thing you really wanted to work isn't going to work. Hey, this thing that you were counting on, it's broken. Hey, this brush that you wanted to use, gummed up with paint, completely dry from something you painted like 3 days ago. That's alright. I have plenty more brushes. I've been painting for a while today because, when I get stressed out, when I get, flustered and frustrated, I like to paint. It helps me calm down, helps me focus back in on my little world, because when I'm painting, I can kind of just, all I can think about is the paint job and what I want to do and what I want to change and how I want to represent this thing that I'm painting. So I've been doing a lot of painting today. I've been working on a pretty big project that I'm going to be bringing to the stream soon, but I got to get part of it done first, because I'm currently working on the base so that I can glue the figure to the base, and it's not just going to be super boring. The base is super boring. I really like these Nalzer's minis. For a mini that's marketed as hey, you can start miniature painting as a hobby with these. They're remarkably detailed. Sometimes the molds aren't very good, and you get a lot of mold lines and flashing, but I never cared about that stuff anyway. Oh, and I entered that the Mind Flayer that we painted on Wednesday. I have now officially entered that in the monthly Archvillain Games painting contest. Much like the Sharknado, it is a private, Patreon-only painting contest. So I can't shill for votes. I can't encourage y'all to go vote for me. But you can cross your fingers and sacrifice a rabbit and touch wood, turn around 3 times. Wish me good luck. Because I'm up against some stiff competition. I mean, there are some damn good painters in this contest. Good news is there's also some crap painters, and I find myself somewhere in the middle. My goal here isn't necessarily to win, though that would be cool. My goal right now for this one is top 10. If I can hit top 10, I'm pretty happy. It's very validating. Pretty much how I'm standing on the other paint competition I entered, the one with the Sharknado. If I can get top 10, I'm going to be pretty happy. But unfortunately, I'm not going to know where I placed in either of those until at least the beginning of December. So, you've got time to wish me luck. I'm doing this paint pretty thin because I want to play around with some newish painting techniques that I've been learning to make this look pretty cool. Let's see, that's all face. That's wood. I got a wooden bum. Wooden mimic butt. Mimics are rad little monsters. You know, they study their prey and learn to turn into the things that their prey are drawn to. When they're hunting, just like, you know, animals and other monsters, they turn into things that those animals and other monsters would want. But when adventurers come around and they see adventurers, they think, ooh, adventurers like to go for chests and barrels of mead. And so that's what they turn into. If you keep a mimic fed and like treat it nicely, don't hit it with an axe, you can actually turn a mimic to your side. They're smart, they're intelligent creatures, but they're pretty simple creatures. As long as they keep them fed, you can be like, all right, mimic, where's the big bad boss guy in this dungeon? And you be like, give me a sandwich, and then you give him a sandwich, and then it'll tell you. You can even, if you try very hard and you really don't care about missing fingers, you can keep a mimic as a pet. As long as you just got to keep it fed. That's the key. Much like myself. If you want to keep me as a pet, just keep me fed. So how is everybody else doing? Let's talk about y'all for a bit. How's everybody doing? Just chime in. No need to raise your hand. What ends up happening on these streams is that I end up talking for 3 hours and nobody really talks back, and that's a super bummer. So I'm going to be working on more ways to get y'all talking, because I know there are people that watch this stream, at least 4 or 5 of you on the regular, but you never say anything. We have very poor conversation, and that's that's mostly my fault. I don't really encourage it because I'm not very good at that. I'm a stage performer. I'm used to like being the guy talking, and you pay attention to me because I'm on the stage with a microphone. But all the stages are closed, so I can't be that anymore. Alright, so there's our first layer of brown on old Mimicky here. We're just going to let that dry for a second. And while we're doing that, we're going to come over and start on another Mimic. We're going to start it with the exact same brown because I only have so many browns. So I think I only have like 4 browns total. This is going to be a much different brown once we're done. But I can base it with the same brown. We can start in the same place and get two very different locations. I like all these little nubblies that are popping up. I think we'll do those. We'll do those brown too. For now. If I decide that was wrong, we can always paint over it. I don't know, would this channel be interesting, you think, if I didn't talk? If, like, I just, like, turned on some background jams, some lo-fi tunes to paint minis to? Hey, Pious Excrement! Good to see you again. It's been a while. Yeah, baby mimic minis would be super cute. I think on my hard drive I had like a pile of coins that were actually mimics. So in my head, that's always like baby mimics. Adult mimics are chests, and baby mimics are coins. And I had a mini of that, but again, my hard drive is dead. Hence the donation goal. Again, go to Twitch, click donate to help me replace all of my minis that I lost. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, you can also Venmo me. Life has been, yeah. You know what? Life has been kind of wacky for most of us. Today, you missed out on me complaining about my day. I have had an absolute day, my friend. But I'm glad to see you again. I'm glad you made it back. Glad that today is another day above the grass. All right. Boop, boop, boop. That's the brown on our second mimic. We'll set them aside. And then we will also throw down some brown on the Minotaur. This time we're going to start with a much darker brown. Kind of a different tone here. A bit more red. Always had a soft spot for Minotaurs. Minotaurs. Ooh, that pot of paint is not looking great. Ooh, I just noticed that this Minotaur is wearing like a very like jaggedy rusted armor thing, like just over one arm. And that gives me some ideas. Sometimes it's kind of hard to see the details on these minis, and kind of like your brain sometimes just doesn't want to calculate what you're seeing until you start putting paint on it, and you know, you can start differentiating. Okay, this color is this, and that color is that. It's always a pleasant surprise to like start painting and be like, oh, look, he's wearing armor that I didn't even realize. I'm once again using my very technical and complex miniature holders, which are old pill bottles, and blue tack. Sticky tack, poster tack, however you want to say it. Our Minotaur here, I think, is going to be the mini of the three of these that's going to take the longest. Because there's a lot to him that I did not see at first. And I'm kind of digging it. Still just a little salty, though, about the mini I was going to paint tonight being broken. Kind of a bummer. I'm printing another one, so, you know, it's not, all hope is not lost. But, not going to happen tonight. What is going on there? Just some debris from priming him. Yeah, I have some definitely some fun ideas for how I want to paint this fella. They don't sculpt Minotaurs with fur texture, which I always found very interesting. That it's more like skin texture, the way you sculpt skin. And I understand why. Like, it's much easier to sculpt that way, and it's much easier to get detail in that way. But that makes me want to paint it like skin texture. I think our Minotaur here is going to have black hair, too. So I did black hair on my Snake Dancer, and I'm not super happy with how that came out. It might be her face. I might have done, like, just a piss poor job on her face, and that's why I don't like that mini. But, might also be the hair. Get a very light cover on the face so that I don't lose any face detail. I'm glad you think I should talk, because frankly, if I picked just like ambient music, it'd be absolutely terrible. I'm very lazy about that kind of thing. We are also live on YouTube tonight. We are live on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch. because I am trying to get more people to watch this dumb stuff. And if you are watching this dumb stuff somewhere other than Twitch, I highly recommend you set up a Twitch account and come watch me there. It's a much higher quality video. It's more feature rich. It's not Facebook, because Facebook is terrible. Alright, starting to get somewhere. Finish painting up the arms and legs, and then we will circle back around to our first mimic. I like that you guys like hearing the process, especially because the process is predominantly, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. When the miniature disappears from screen and then I bring it back, it kind of looks like I'm like, I'm gonna hold this back and think about something. No, I just forget where the frame is and move the mini. Because I'm good at this TV stuff. But hey, you know, practice makes perfect. And while I would definitely like more people to watch, I would definitely like more engagement, I'm having fun just painting some fucking minis, honestly. I got so many minis that are unpainted. And just having the stream really motivates me, like, get some shit done. Plus, it's a lot of fun. I'm just throwing paint all over the place right now because we're doing like kind of the innermost layer, the farthest in layer, which would be the skin. And then we work our way out from there. Because frankly, it's okay if I get paint on stuff if I'm just going to end up painting over it anyway. Wait, is he wearing a glove on that hand? No. Alright. Got us a big old meaty minotaur fist here. I like he's got a very serene look on his face, very calm about the fact that he's gonna smash you in the face with a great big axe. Also, just a reminder, if you are watching on Facebook, I cannot see your chat. I cannot see any comments that are being made without stopping what I'm doing, going to the computer, pulling up Facebook, and seeing it there. Because Facebook is mean and doesn't like artists or anything that isn't Facebook. Alright, I think, except for any spots that I have inadvertently missed, which, you know, probably a bunch, I think I've got him about painted. Or at least, like, started. You know what I mean. I got this brown skin about painted. Make sure I get the back of the ears here. And then we can flip on back to our mimics. Alright. Okie dokie. Lightning round. Just going to do a quick wash on all of them. Starting with our first mimic here. We are going to give him... What are we going to do here? I kind of think a brown wash for everything. But then again, I kind of maybe want to throw like a red wash on this guy. You know what? Let's play. Let's play around. Start with a black wash, because I know I want to do the legs in a black wash. I want the wood of the legs to look different than the wood of the keg. So we'll do that in a nice brown, nice black wash here. Not too heavy, just enough to kind of sink down into the cracks and crevices, give it some shade and some texture. You know, I could have swore I got a soda out earlier. Alright, there's the legs washed. Those are going to take a minute to dry. And while they're drying, I kind of want to play with the barrel itself. I know I want to do the treasure chest in a brown wash, like a heavy brown wash. I'll actually be using, where is it? Army Painter Strong Tone. It's heavy brown. Alright, let's see. Let's play with some red wash and see how the red wash affects the brown. I'll bet that it turns it red. Ooh, that's kind of pretty, actually. I kind of like that. Let's do the red wash. I was going to also test the brown wash, but I like this red. I like the kind of rosy tone it gives the wood. And then we're going to go in with another wood color, a darker wood color, and then do like some selective glazing to like make it kind of look like each plank of the wood was made separately. That's my, my favorite part about learning new techniques like this is being like, all right, well, now I'm going to apply this really complicated technique that I just used on this very complicated mini to like the simplest mini that I can. Like this mini is teeny tiny. It's nothing really. It's just a little gimmicky monster that I just happen to like. And I'm gonna, I'm gonna do like glazing and fucking underpainting and shit like that. Alright. While that is drying, let's pull up our treasure chest mimic. We're going to give him a brown. Actually, yeah, let's use the other brown wash. Let's use... I need a thing. I need a thing here. The thing is called a palette. And we're going to use Strong Tone and see how that looks. Because I've never used it. I hear wonderful things about it. I hear it's a very popular color. Very popular. Oh my god. A little bit too much there. I hear it's a popular wash. So, we'll see. We'll see how it plays. Ooh, that is damn near black. I like that very much. It is almost black, but still just a little bit brown. Damn, it really sucks that I just sprayed that much of it onto my palette, though. I got a little, like, pop out of it, and it just completely dumped all over my palette. Painted my entire AdMech army. Oh, love AdMech. Such fun models. All kinds of spindly stuff, and you can knock most of it out just by dry brushing on some lead belcher. Look at that big old spot right there that I missed. Ugh. Now, because I put way too much wash on my palette, I am going to use the same wash on the Minotaur just to kind of not waste it. I was kind of thinking of brown wash anyway, but maybe not this brown. But it looks like it's going to be Strong Tone because I put too much paint on the palette. I'm very good at that. Very good at it. You should DM me some pictures of your AdMech army. I'm into it. Eventually, one of these days on this stream, I'm gonna get around to painting some of my 40K stuff, and like start getting back into my Chaos Space Marines. All right, let's wash us a Minotaur in this nice deep dark tone. He's gonna end up a lot darker than I thought, which is fine. I'm not super mad about it. Because this tone, man, this wash looks awesome. I now deeply regret being such a Citadel fanboy that I neglected Army Painter my entire painting career. This stuff's awesome. And it's very smooth. It's actually a lot smoother than the Citadel washes that I use. Maybe because I treat my paints like shit, but I mean, it seems a lot smoother. Citadel wash almost has a graininess to it. Not quite. It doesn't actually have a graininess, but it almost does. If that makes any sense at all. Now, I currently have, well, had a couple pieces broke in the move, one of the moves. Currently, I at one time had close to 10,000 points of Chaos Space Marines painted. And I have 2 fucking totes of Chaos Space Marines unpainted. And it'd be nice to get back into those and get some of those painted up. And I'll pull some of that wash off of his face. I want to make sure that I leave enough detail in the face to get those eyes nice and glowy. I want glowing red eyes because I'm basic. There we go. Oh, came off his mini stand. Very technical and advanced miniature stand of an empty pill bottle. All right. Now, normally I would be very, very patient about letting this wash dry, but I'm not gonna, and it's gonna be okay because I am going to be using a technique that it allows wet paints to kind of interact much better. So, what do I want to do? I want to take not that brush. I'm going to take this brush to kind of shovel some Citadel paint. We're going to shovel this kind of older Citadel paint. It's called Graveyard Earth. And as you can see, it's kind of a tan. It's kind of a deep tan. And because this paint pot is nearly a decade old, it's a bit thick. So I'm just going to shovel some of that in. And then we are going to be adding some glaze medium. Which is essentially a thinner, but it has better pigment distribution. So it makes a nice, even, thin mush of a paint that you can use to essentially paint over other colors, to tint them, to glaze them. That's still not quite enough glaze medium. I want that even thinner. I want this to just pretend to be brown. That's pretty thin. Oh yes. Oh yes. Now we're cooking. Just gonna do that. Come in. Just start glazing this very loosely over the other brown. And we're gonna do it in such a way that if it leaves brush marks, brush strokes, that's okay. We just want to make sure that we're leaving them lengthways along the planks. Looks like a yellow ochre. Yeah, it does. On camera, it's a little less yellowy. The camera with that bright white LED light tends to add some tones that aren't there. Or maybe it brings out some tones that are there that I just can't see. So it's a bit less yellow in real life. And a bit more dusty, tan, khaki, maybe? But it is pretty close to yellow ochre, I got to agree. If it had just a touch more yellow in it, I think it would be a beautiful yellow ochre. As a matter of fact, I have a bottle of yellow paint right there, and now that I'm pretty much done doing what I was doing, get just a little bit more even distribution here. Make sure it's not bubbling on me. Make sure it's not pooling anywhere. Get some on the back here. Alright. Now, we're going to end up coming in and doing another layer of that. But we're going to do it a little bit more selectively. Round 2. So we got to let that dry. And we got to let everything else dry because we've kind of come back around in the circle a bit too quick. Let's see if we can make this into a yellow ochre. I don't actually use a lot of yellow. I think if I take this and give it one little oomph of yellow. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's actually a beautiful yellow. Very, like, fancy mustard. I actually like that a lot. Cool! We made yellow. Out of yellow. I took some yellow and made it yellow. Alright. Let's put that back on. Trying to expand my color usage because I really just basically use blacks, browns, and reds on everything. I am super boring and basic. Alright, I am going to be right back. 2 seconds. I'm just literally running over there to the refrigerator and running right back. Told you. Yeah, art is hard. Art is weird, right? Like, who would have thought art is difficult? All right. While we're waiting for that to dry, I'm going to go check out Facebook and see if anybody's commenting there. Negative. Facebook is a wasteland. Oh, hey, Greta. I didn't even... Oh, my God. I'm terrible. I'm a terrible, terrible person. I didn't even see you come in. Hi, Greta. It's good to see you. Ugh. Yeah, not a lot going on in Facebook land. Not terribly surprised. But now I have a drink. And we're just kind of chilling, waiting for some stuff to dry. So here is the mini I'm readying for a future stream. This really rad, like, 75mm succubus from Archvillain Games. I have her all primed up. She's ready to go. But the way she sits on the base, I am not going to be able to paint her until the base is done. So, you know, she's coming. She'll come soon to a stream near you. But not today. I just wanted... It's a teaser. It's a teaser picture. I'll tease her legs, too. I'm also trying a technique on this called a zenithal shade. Where I prime it, and then I prime it a lighter color directly from above. And it kind of gives it more natural shadow tones. But I think the way I'm going to end up painting it, none of that's going to matter. So, I don't know. It was fun to try. Here's her base that I'm working on. The idea was like black smoke with green light inside, but I don't think I've really pulled that off. I'm still playing with some stuff. But I need to finish this because she actually sits between these two tendrils. So I got to get that done first. Right, Archvillain Games does some incredible models. I've been a Patreon of theirs for I think 4 or 5 months now. And holy shit, I have never, ever been disappointed by any of their releases. They're just so good all the time. The Frost Giant and the Yeti with a human face are both Archvillain pieces that we've painted. Have we done any other Archvillain pieces? No, I think those are the only two. We've done some Artisan Guild. We've done some Mini Monster Mayhem. And 2 Archvillain pieces. So right behind camera here, actually, let's see if I can get this turned around so you can see. This is gonna be tricky, so I'm gonna make sure I can see it on the monitor. Right behind my paint table here that has my camera and my lights hanging from it, that shelf is all of the miniatures that I've painted on the stream. It's kind of hard to see from this angle, but I don't want to move my camera too much. Because I have it set up just so. But that shelf is everything I've painted on the stream. They all live up there. You know, we've got the Frost Giant from the first couple streams. We've got the Sharknado and the Beholder and the Dragon Lady that almost got me kicked off Twitch. As it turns out, when I painted the Dragon Lady with the big anime boobs, that's against Twitch TOS because I painted nipples. And another mini painter streamer pointed that out to me and was like, "You should probably take that down." So I did. It's still drying. I want to paint this more. So what I shall do is, while I'm waiting for the wash to dry on the brown, I'll paint something else. I know, how dare I acknowledge female anatomy. Let's see. I want to do... Yeah, it's going to have a purple tongue. got this great big crazy tongue. I think it needs to be purple. Get a little bit of purple. I don't need a lot. I think. I say that I don't need a lot. I might need a lot. I don't know. But I got this really pretty, like, lilac-y purple that I'm going to use as a base coat for the tongue. I've been using a bit more paint brands that I normally in my paint history haven't used, like Army Painter and Vallejo. And I'm really digging Army Painter. It's real thin. Like, I barely have to thin it at all to make it flow smooth and even off the brush. With Citadel, I normally have to do a bit more in the way of thinning. I'm really digging it. I'm kind of bummed that I've slept on Army Painter for so long. And I'm having some trouble getting my hands on Vallejo, but what I have from Vallejo is pretty boss. The only local game store in this area that I've been able to find that carries paints at all only carries Citadel and Army Painter. So the only place I can get Vallejo paints is a certain chain craft store that doesn't think women are people. So I don't buy there. I don't buy things from there. I've been known to ethically source things from there a couple times, but I don't buy things there. Alright, that's a good first layer on a purple tongue, I think. Get down here at the bottom a little bit. See, I like Michael's. The last time I was in a Michael's, they didn't have any Vallejo at all. And there's just not one within a reasonable distance of my house. Like, I think the closest one to where I live is about 30 minutes. And that's just too far. Places like Michael's and the craft store that shall not be named and Joanne. Joanne's got a pretty decent... Joanne Fabric has a pretty decent paint selection for being a fabric store. But places like that, they tend to carry traditional model paints, which are enamels. They carry like testers, which to paint with enamels you need paint thinner, you need chemicals and gnarly shit to thin it, and it just doesn't work very well on miniature painting that I found. More for painting like model cars. And even then, I still think I'd want acrylics. Yeah, big old purple tongue there. You know what? And now, while I'm at it, let's go ahead and paint this other mimic also with a purple tongue. They're both mimics. They're both the same species, I guess. Models, artist paint. I do love Golden. I use a lot of their mediums, but not their actual paints. I'm pretty spoiled on my acrylics. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm used to these like soft body, very thin acrylics. Artist's acrylic is just so heavy and so thick because it's meant to be like scraped onto a canvas in large quantity where, you know, I just need to put like the tiniest little bit on. So I've used artist acrylic before. As a matter of fact, I use some like cheap, super shitty craft acrylic. I use some apple barrel because I use it as a white primer. If I need to prime something white, I use apple barrel because I can thin it pretty easily, and it's actually pretty opaque. It's got a, you know, it covers pretty good. I've definitely used worse whites. Citadel white is garbage. I think Citadel has 3 whites, and they're all trash. Alright, there's another purple tongue. And our Minotaur doesn't have a tongue, so I'm not going to paint his tongue purple. I really like that. That's a very pretty, like, lilac-y purple. That came out very nice. Very nice indeed. So this one looks pretty, it's getting pretty close to dry. So I'm going to kind of start picking out some detail on it. Don't, you know, switch to Citadel. Citadel makes some great paints. I'm not going to lie. I really love Citadel paints. Don't sleep on Army Painter like I did. Army Painter and Vallejo, especially the Vallejo game color, makes some pretty fucking legit paint. And I'm, you know, I wish I hadn't slept on it for as long as I did. Alright. I'm gonna start doing like the steel bands on this treasure chesty boy here. I'm gonna start with like a super dark metallic. One of the things I definitely want to play with as far as paints go is making washes out of artist oils. You just thin them down super far with mineral spirits. Once I get, like, you thin them down with mineral spirits, and then they make like this really nice wash. And you just coat it on super thick, and then you use like a makeup sponge or a Q-tip to like sponge it off in the places you want it to be weaker, and it ends up looking really nice. I've seen a couple like larger pieces painted with that method, and I kind of want to play with that. See, making the list. Yeah, make a list, man. Citadel's boss, Army Painter's boss, Vallejo. So Vallejo has 2 main paint lines for minis. They've got model color and game color. And game color is more bright and vibrant. Pretty much the main difference is that the model color line is a bit more desaturated and subdued, and the game color is a bit more bright and vibrant. But they're both quality paint lines. One of the paint competitions I have entered, in first, second, and third prize, you get Vallejo paints. I'm pretty jazzed about it. I don't think I'm gonna place, because there are some pretty like fucking legit entries in both of them. But it's nice to dream, you know. And if I don't win, I'll just re-enter next month, because it's a Patreon thing. So every month they do a new paint competition, and as long as you didn't win first prize, you get to re-enter. You just have to paint something from that month's release. Ah, bugger. Got a little bit of silver in my brown there. I think I can fix it. It doesn't really. Just bummer. Anyway. I've been watching a lot of like how-to videos on miniature speed painting, on how to like get a fuckload of minis done really fast. And the oil paint wash was one of the big tips. They thinned it down until they could use it in an airbrush, and they just airbrushed their entire army, and then we're just like, all right, sponge you off, you're done. Sponge you off, you're done. It was neat to watch. Over there. Clicking around the stuff. Ooh, what's that? Oh. That's boring. That's what that is. Check something else. I gotta click all the things. Oh wow, I have somebody watching on YouTube. Hi, person watching on YouTube. You're new. Tonight's the first night I've streamed to YouTube. So the fact that there's anybody watching on YouTube at all is kind of a miracle. The big reason I've decided to stream to YouTube, as well as, well, for Facebook, it was just to get maybe some people watching. My numbers have very much plateaued in the last few weeks, and I, you know, a lot of factors there. It's getting towards the holidays, you know. It's the holiday breaks. People have got shit to do, which is fine. I get that. But, you know, anything helps. So I figured I'd stream to Facebook and YouTube. And with YouTube, I'm streaming there because it'll actually save my streams to my channel. So if you want to watch, you know, a stream from 6 months ago, which I haven't been doing this for 6 months, don't go looking. You know, it'll be on YouTube. Because I also kind of like want to do some quick and dirty like paint videos, maybe some time-lapse stuff. I don't know. I was, you know, just trying to come up with like more ideas of stuff to stream and do. Alright. There's that. We'll let that dry. And while that's drying, we're going to focus here on this mimic for a while. And while we're doing that, I want that pink and I want that red. We're going to focus in on this mouth. He's got these like webby things here on the sides of the mouth. And I think I just want to do those red. This is a really dark red. It dries with almost a maroon hue to it. And I think it looks great for this kind of inside the mouth look. And again, if I'm wrong, fuck it, I'll paint over it. Yeah, that looks alright. And then what I'll do, rinse that off. Then I want to go in and do the gums pink. I like the idea of pink gums. And before I do the teeth, at least, everything in the mouth is going to get a purple wash. So, oh man, this pink paint ain't doing so hot. So, you know, it'll tone it all down, tone it all together, make it look kind of fun and purpley pink. But in the meantime, get in here with some pink. Give him some gums. I probably should have painted the teeth first, but whatever. Lots of back and forth in mini painting, and today is no exception. A neat little transition right here from the brown to the blue, brown to the pink, and I think I want to play with some glazing again to really like sell that. Well, I just painted that entire eyeball pink, and I didn't even make a pink eye joke. Gums can be a pain in the dick to paint. It's not something you really think about, but man, getting down there and like, they're always at weird angles. Wow. Pink Mimic. I kind of like him. Just up the opacity up here just a little bit. We got a little bit of cloudiness in that pink. Do just a little bit of another layer just to even it out. A lot of it will come out in the wash too, quite literally. Alright, now while we're at it, while we're working on mouth parts, let's do some mouth parts. Oh, wait. How in the hell did I do that? Huge spot, like right in the line that I was painting that I missed. Like right there. That whole big chunk that's right in the middle of where I was painting, I just didn't paint. Good grief. Alright. Now let's paint some teeth. Go back to my favorite tooth and bone color, Ushabti Bone. I use this shit for everything. Any kind of bones or teeth, I tend to do this color and then tone down with a wash. Though I have been playing around with doing them a bit more tan and then highlighting with this color. I think I like my original method better. To just slap this color on, do a wash, bingo bango, all done. You got some jankety ass teeth there, son. This poor beholder needs a dentist. Beholder. Mimic. Good grief. Getting my D&D monsters all mixed up. That's going to need another coat to get any kind of decent opacity there. And I'm going to go ahead and paint the bottom teeth. And then I'm going to set this one aside for a minute so that I can kind of come back to it and look at it with fresh eyes. Because right now, I feel like I'm just missing a whole bunch of stuff. Alright, we got us a toothy maw and a great big tongue. And we're going to set that aside for just a minute. We're going to work on our Minotaur here. Give him some love. Let's see, what do I want to do? So he's got this... do I want to do the loincloth or do I want to do the fur? Because he's got fur. And he's got like this mohawk of fur that runs down his back. And he's got fur on the bottom of his legs. I think I want to do that. I think I just want to do that a slightly different brown. We'll do this same brown that we started the mimics with. And we'll do a wash and dry brush on that to change it up. Make it look like something else. I know I said I was going to do black hair, but I changed my mind. I have basically like a box in my little closet there, full of minis that I've bought to paint on the stream that I haven't done yet. And I just randomly grabbed a couple today because my original plan completely fell through. And they all happen to start with the letter M, and they all happen to be brown. It was a complete coincidence. And I gotta tell you, I find that absolutely hilarious. I'm not crazy about this color contrast right here, this brown and that brown, but it will change. This is one of those, like, I don't like it right now, but I will like it here in a minute situations. What the hell is that? That, if I am not very much mistaken, no, that's part of the model. That was a piece of grass or something. They got stuck to it when I was priming it. But nope, it's like some flashing or a mold line or something else that I just don't give a damn about. There's some leg there that I didn't paint. Oh well. We'll get round to it. It's not going anywhere. There's his leg fur. Now we'll do his back fur. Damn it, stay on there. This blue tack is just not very great. That's what I get for buying dollar store blue tack. He seems like the kind of Minotaur that would take great pride in his horns. So we're going to give him some very nice horns. Very clean, very smooth. This paint might be dead. That makes me very sad. So be sure to hit up that donation button on Twitch or that Venmo if you're watching somewhere else, to help me buy more paint to replace the pot that has just died. It'll also help me replace my hard drive where I had all my 3D printable minis saved that died a terrible, terrible death. The idea is that I'm asking for $100 in donations. That will get me a new hard drive for about 50 or 60 bucks, and then whatever's left goes towards paying somebody who knows more than I do to restore the data and move it to the new one. There we go. That's a horn. I had to find some angles because I like Reaper models. I like them very much, but sometimes their sculpts are not great. And it can be kind of tricky to get in there and see some of the details. Now that he's got some horns, though, I don't mind that that color on the legs as much. It's amazing what a little shift in tone can do. All right, what else can we do on him? He's got kind of a tattered loincloth kind of deal. And of course, as is my custom, I will paint it red. But it has a second layer there that I think I'm gonna make metallic. Like a loincloth bit of armor. He's got like dangly bits there and other textures on his loincloth. I'm not painting him like a Guy Fieri flame loincloth. Though that would be pretty fun. Alright, there's our first color on our loincloth. There's like a bit that comes out of the top of the belt I need to do. So while I'm doing this like little tedious stuff, let's talk about subscriptions. Now, subscribing to the channel means a lot. It means so much. It shows your support. It helps me, you know, pay for the supplies that I use on this channel. It shows me that you care. It's lots of great things. But what I've recently learned, and this may be helpful information for some of you, if you have an Amazon Prime account, you get a free subscription to a channel every month. Every month you can subscribe to a channel for free, and that channel still gets the financial benefit of that subscription. That is a thing that you can do, and you can do it on this channel, and that'd be pretty cool. Not that I am suggesting you do anything. You can make your own decisions in life. I'm just saying that's an option, and it'd be awful helpful. Alright, I got some dude. Walter's Workshop, thanks for the follow. Sorry I missed your notification because I wasn't paying attention to the screen, but thank you so much for your follow. Follows mean the absolute world. They are absolutely great. Thank you so much. I hope you hang around. I hope you enjoy. I hope you aren't here to learn anything, because that's just not what we do. There's a big chunk of leg that I missed. And I think there's more right here in between some of these like little leathery strappy bits. He's wearing like a bondage harness on his leg. Alright. Now, what are we going to do here? I think I want to go ahead and start highlighting his skin, or at least bringing it up in tone. So we're going to go back to this brown. Just start defining things with it. A little runny. There we go. I'm going super, super, super thin for this first layer of this, because I want to make sure that I'm not putting it somewhere stupid. I mean, it's pretty subtle right now. We're definitely gonna bring it up, but I kind of like it. I'm digging it. A little bit more paint in there. Whoop. Uh-oh. That, my friends, was almost bad news. Painting like muscly boys like this always makes the skin highlight part so easy. You just paint the muscle a little bit brighter than the bit around it. It's pretty simple. And it just brings everything out, makes everything look cool. And for a miniature this small, and for, you know, this not great of a sculpt, it's really an unnecessary step. I could just like have painted it the lighter color and then washed it and then did like a quick little dry brush retone. But you know what? I've got new tools in my toolbox, and I want to play with them. We'll probably end up coming up one more tone. Like, maybe not a lot, just kind of a subtle highlight, because the variation here between the undertone and the tone I'm painting now is pretty damn indistinguishable. Ah, get on there, fucker. Just will not stay on that goddamn pill bottle. Blue tack is very weak. My blue tack is weak. Things you never thought you'd hear yourself say. You can kind of see the difference. I've really like worked over here and not really worked over here. Thank you, Pius. Yeah, I'm definitely going to go in and do another tone up. I don't hate it though. Alright, let's do that one. This is a really, really light tone, so we're going to go super, super light with it. Because I really, really don't want to just like blow out the color. And then all of a sudden he's damn near white. That just isn't what I'm after here. Let's get some of that glaze medium. A couple drops of glaze medium. Mix it up with a wet brush. Lovely. Now that is pretty good. Alright, let's see. Still pretty bright, but I've committed. As that dries, that should tone down a little bit for me. I hope. If this doesn't work quite the way I want it to, there's always a backup plan. We just hit it with another wash. Right? Look at them fuckers. Minotaur's jacked. Alright, while we're back here. Let's really bring these out. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that. We're going to, you know, we're really going to not worry about overtoning him right now. Because we can always just go in with a wash and bring it back down. That'll help blend everything in a little bit too. Even everything out. Minotaur jerked. He had a name on the package that Reaper, the manufacturer, the designer, had given him. But it was a dumb name. So my Minotaur doesn't have a name, and he kind of needs one. Every Minotaur that Reaper has designed is named some variation on hoof. Like blood hoof, shield hoof, hoof, hoof and poof. All right, nice. A lot more pale. With like some huge color contrast between this upper tone and the lower tone, but we can fix it, and we're about to, because frankly that looks like shit right now. We are gonna do something about all that nonsense. Actually, we probably should let that dry for a second. Nah. Wash is still. I'm in the process of getting a wet palette that'll keep my paints liquid a lot longer. I'm very much looking forward to getting that here. It makes a lot of these processes so much easier. Again, we're just going back over it with Army Painter Strong Tone. I'm going to go over the whole mini. And that'll, you can already see that kind of like brings the really high tones back down, but it doesn't really do a lot to the low tones because they've already got this wash on them. So it just brings everything back to a more neutral territory as far as color goes. And we need to, you know, hit that breechcloth. I gotta start thinking about what I want to do with like the leather strappy bits. And the armor. And the pole. You know, it's so easy to be like, all right, well, minotaurs are brown and leather is brown and it's a weapon, it's a axe, so it's got a wooden handle and that's brown. But I don't want to do that. I think I want to do the axe like a solid line of steel. Look how much better that looks. Look how much better that is now that that's got that wash on it. Oh yeah. Moo Boy is doing good here. He's living his best life. We'll let him dry. And we will come back to our barrel mimic. And what are we going to do? We're going to just do like little, we're going to thin that down so it's a bit transparent. Excellent. This is just a nice dark brown, and I'm just going to kind of go in and do some lines. Just some horizontal lines. Random, willy-nilly. No real thought to where they're going. They just all need to run in the same direction. We're just adding some texture here. And as this dries, we'll have a new kind of texture on our barrel mimic here. And it's got some iron bands I need to start painting as well. I'm just going to work on him for a minute. Let everybody else dry. I like that the bands on this barrel mimic have popped off and become like pseudopod grabber bits. Trying to be very careful painting these iron bands. I've put in so much kind of layering color on the wood, I don't want to get any silver on it and mess it up. We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. I think after I finish these bands, though, I want to go back to the Minotaur. I'm kind of feeling that mini right now. I think we can get that one pretty close to done pretty quick. There's not a terrible amount left to do there. And while it is nice to have like more than one mini to paint at a time, so you've got something to do while one is drying, it's kind of weird right now for me to focus and feel inspired by all three. Kind of just want to nail this Minotaur real fast, and then we can come back to the mimics and work on those. We'll definitely get them finished. It's not like they're a tiny red dragon that I started 2 weeks ago and haven't touched since then. That is the red dragon hatchling from Reaper Miniatures. I'm still working on my collection of dragons. I want the entire life cycle of every chromatic dragon. So I have hatchlings, and I have wormlings, and I have young dragons. I need to get adult dragons of every flavor, and ancient dragons of every flavor. But that is going to require some serious 3D printer time. There's a lot of metal bits on this on this mimic. Uh-oh. My palette paper over here is getting pretty full. I keep picking up other paints on accident. Ugh. This is an awfully popular stream. I got 3 watchers across 3 platforms. I know I've got another metal ring up here, but it's also where the eyes are and where the mouth starts. That is true, Pius. You are a fabulous conversational partner. And Nish is doing her best. She's upstairs trying to wrangle some children, probably. One more iron band, and then we're going to go back to our Minotaur. these two like weird little tenderly. An embroidery project? What are you embroidering? Embroiderating. Embridating? That's how you know it's art. It evokes emotions. Mostly anger. Alright. That's all the iron bits on the barrel mimic. At least, you know, started. I've got the base coats in. So let's come back and stare at our Minotaur for a minute. Let's think about old boy here. And while we're doing that, I'm gonna turn on the white noise machine. Otherwise known as the window fan, that's simply just too loud for a Twitch stream. Ah, lovely. Because I need a cigarette break. Don't smoke, kids. Bad for you. Yeah, didn't it? That wash is just, I don't know, man. It's such a good like blending tool, and like there's still some stuff in there I want to fix, some highlight stuff. Some of it just doesn't really like fade out very well. Alright, I'll check on Facebook then. As soon as I figure out Facebook. God, Facebook is such a bitch. Okay. Quests. Okay. That's interesting. Aha! There we go. Oh, dude, these look really nice. Yeah. Getting some AdMech. The like laser cannon canister, that green you did on the gun on the Walker looks rad. That looks super nice. Greta, I am in no way surprised that it's the 2020 that's giving you trouble. Not even a little bit. 2020 is giving us all trouble today. I really like the gun on that. I keep going back to that picture. To steal your idea. There's just, you can't go wrong with like green lasery bits. You just can't. Just can't go wrong. I got a little distracted there by clicking things. Ah. Alright, interaction on YouTube's going well. This fucking. Hey. You know, that's all I'm aiming for. I just want like, you know, People to watch me paint and go, cool, I want to paint. That's all I want. That's all I want in life. Well, that and to get my fucking hard drive fixed. There are just some spots on this guy where the blend just did not work the way I wanted it to, and that's really bumming me out. I can fix it. Just a bummer. There was a spill, and the spill happened. Just so happened to run off of the table directly above where my hard drive sits. And the little plastic case filled up with liquid. Because I didn't notice the spill. I didn't see it happen. So by the time I figured out what was going on, it had completely filled with liquid. And I could plug it in. You know, I like threw it in a bag of rice and like let it sit overnight, and like, you know, took it apart and like cleaned it up real good. And then when I plugged it back in, the computer wasn't recognizing it, and then eventually it just stopped doing anything. It stopped lighting up. It stopped doing literally anything. It's an SSD. It's a solid state drive. So I think if I take it to, like, you know, people who do this kind of thing for a living, they'll be able to at least pull something off of it. But all of my Patreon minis were on there. And those Patreon minis, once the month is over, you don't get access to those anymore without buying them. And that's a bummer. That really hurts. Like, stuff that I've actually paid for to download, and like stuff I've downloaded for free, I can always go back and get more of that. I can always go get those again. But the Patreon stuff, that's just gone. Until I can get, you know, something done with that hard drive and maybe get that stuff pulled off. All that stuff's just gone. Alright, let's be done with that. Let's be done with that. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I'm really hoping I can take it somewhere and they can just be like, yeah, let us plug it into our magic mystery machine and get all of your minis back. And there was some other stuff on that hard drive that I'm really bummed about losing too, but you know, right now in this point in my life, it's the minis that are bothering me. All right, we're gonna start working on armor. And I kind of, what I want to do with the armor is rusty. Rusty, because, like, it's got a beat-up texture to it. Like, it's denty and jagged on the edges. So I want to do rust. And I have a really good, I have a method for rust that I really like. I'm using this gunmetal silver as a base, and it's so weird. It reflects in the light in such a way that it's kind of hard to tell what you've painted and what you haven't. And the big thing with the hard drive situation is I need a new hard drive to move anything that is recoverable over to. Make sure my target's in the right spot. It doesn't really do me much good to recover that data if I have nowhere to put it. My computer's hard drive is basically full already. Dude, let me tell you about rust. What I do is I paint silver, like a metallic silver, which is what I'm doing now. Then I use a black wash to really like dull the tone down. Sometimes I'll use a brown wash. I might use a brown wash here just to like make it look a little dirty as well as toned down. And then dry brush super, super, super bright orange. You have a great night, Greta. Go like rock some video game world. Make your followers fall in love with you. Beat Tetris. However you're gonna play. I hope you do well. I hope you have a great night. Can you beat Tetris? Is Tetris a beatable game? I don't know. Yeah, I use a really bright orange paint that's essentially dry already. I use this, and it's really thick and basically dry, and I just dry brush it really, really lightly, and it makes a beautiful rust. Yeah, I think I'm gonna wash the armor brown, and since I'm doing essentially the same paint scheme on the weapon, I'll wash it black, just to give it some variation. We're not gonna do anything overly fancy here, because this is, you know, isn't an overly fancy mini. It is not textured, actually. I have a texture. Where's my... Somewhere in here. I have... Here it is. It's Citadel's Typhus Corrosion. And it's like a green and brown... Greeny brown textured thin paint. You're supposed to use it like a wash. And I've never really figured out like the right method for using it. I just stick with my dry brushing and a crazy orange. I get a little bit farther in this steel, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Just want to get this base color all laid down. And now you can kind of see like what's going on here with this armor. Let me get this axe head laid out, and I'll give you a preview of this rust I'm talking about. All right, where's my rust? There it is. So you just take this crazy orange paint. All it is just it's dry. It's just beat up and old, and basically all the medium has gone out of it. So it's essentially a paste. And you just get the smallest amount you can on your brush. Dab it off on your white plate or your palette paper in my case. And then you just very lightly dry brush. And that's pretty much it. Normally I would do a black wash underneath that to really kind of sell that the metal is falling apart. But I'll go back and like paint over that. Yeah, you don't even have to. You don't have to dry brush a lot of this. It just enough to give the idea that there's a browny orange color there that just makes it look rusty and gnarly. And you can kind of change the tone of the rust with the wash. Both the wash underneath it and the wash on top of it. Yeah, so there you go. Rust. If I can get a good close-up in focus here. There. Yeah. Just get you some orange paint and dry brush up from the bottom. Rock and roll. Yeah, it's just the nature of live broadcasting on the internet, and partially it's because the way I'm broadcasting through Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube simultaneously, which kind of throws a wrench in the gears a little bit, but you know, we do what we can with what we have. No, that's the furnace. I'm in the basement. And the furnace is right there. So when it kicks on, it's quite noisy. That is going to be fixed eventually. Eventually, we're actually going to be finishing out a room to put all this in for me to stream from and paint in and basically make like a little office. But that's going to be a ways out. Almost done with the weapon here, and then I just want to go through, and at this point it's just like picking random things to paint on this guy. I want to fix some of the highlights, but I don't really want to put too much work into them. Probably just go in and do a little glazed blend at the edges. Let's see, what's that? We'll go ahead and paint that metal too. A little bit of armor here. There's some metal bits on his chest strap here. All right. I think that's all the silver bits. He does have a sweet septum ring that I'm gonna paint gold, just to make it really like pop and stand out. Give him a sweet septum. The only thing I'm not crazy about with this Army Painter wash is it's quite glossy. Quite glossy. That was super annoying. Right? Exactly. You know, Minotaurs need septum rings. Ooh, I figured it out. I'm gonna do like a really pale leather. Like I'm gonna do like bone, like you know what like shark skin leather looks like. I might do that. That could be cool. Yeah. You know, he's got like a band around his ankle too. I don't want to be gold. If you can, it's always good to do a single color more than once somewhere on the mini. Because if you've got like one thing that's one color and there's no correlation anywhere, it just looks weird. All right, let's wash the silver parts so that I can start getting in there. We're gonna like dry brush them a brighter silver to give them some life, and then we'll go back and do the rust again, but this time for real. A matte clear coat. I have a matte clear coat, but I really don't ever do a varnish on my minis. The idea is that, right, I've spent so much time getting the mini to look the way I want it to look, and then I put a varnish on it and it changes the way the mini looks. So normally, like I have a matte varnish. I don't know what I got it for. I don't remember. I've had it forever. I use a gloss varnish if I want something to look wet. But I generally speaking don't use a varnish. I might have to on him though. Just to bring that fucking gloss down. Jesus. Maybe I'll just go over it with a different wash. I'm gonna end up painting the skin a little bit more just to smooth out some transitions. Yeah, with artist acrylics, with like art bodied acrylics, I can definitely see that. I can definitely see doing a varnish because they do tend to be satiny. Let's do some really like weird pale leather. I've never done pale leather before. That looks kind of neat. See this big honking like wrestling belt he's got on. It's multiple straps, but I'm going to paint them all the same color and separate them in the wash and in the highlight. I think these straps are probably going to read, they're going to read like cloth, which isn't exactly what I'm going for, but is what it is, you know? I'm not super mad about it, because I kind of like the contrast between the skin and the straps. The skin being so dark and the straps being so light. And they'll tone down a little bit too as I wash. As I wash them. And he's got some buckles in there that I didn't see. That'll help break that bright white line up. Which it isn't actually white. It's like a super pale bone color. Like a beige. And I think it looks pretty cool. Personally. There was like a weird gap or hole or something. I couldn't get any fucking paint in. Alright. Minotaur, why have you got so many strappy bits? Oops. Making a mess. Alright. Let's fix my mistake. And then we're going to go back and start working on some of these metal bits to bring that tone back up now that we've washed it flat. The dry brush I want. There it is. We're going to do that with a little dry brush. A little bit of dry brushing. I want to bring in some shine from the edges. So even though this metal looks beat up and worn, it still looks sharp. Well taken care of. quick little baby passes here on the armor, because again, the armor especially is going to get some pretty intense weathering, but I still want it to have some glint, some shine. Man, I just got that silver all over the horns. That is super annoying. I also found a bunch of strappy bits that I missed. Am I using a white for that? A white for the dry brushing? For the silver? 'Cause for that, I'm using like a lighter gunmetal. I used a heavy gunmetal for the base coat, and then a lighter gunmetal for the highlights. The straps are a bone. They're like a beigey bone color. I use white so incredibly rarely. Yeah, I tend to stick in the lower range of metallics. I tend to use darker metallics because the mica flakes, the bits that actually make them look like metallic paint, catch so much light they look much brighter than they are. So I tend to stick pretty dark with those. I have a crazy bright, super bright metallic that I'll use for like really clean metal highlights, and I might use it for like some scratches and dings on this. We'll have to see how I'm feeling about it after I'm done with the rest of the silver highlight. There we go. Got some more strappy bits. So many strappy bits. Alright. Back to some silver. Yeah. Right now what I'm wanting is I'm just wanting to bring that silver color in from the edge. Like, I don't want it to be all over. I just want it on the edge there. Ah, fucker. Get on there. And then we've got these metal parts of armor that could use a little bit of shine. Because that shine will show through some of that rust. I'm going to use the same silver and do a line highlight on some things to really concentrate it. I'm going to fix the horn that I fucked up. And then we're ready for another wash. After the wash, we can rust. And then after the rust, while we're waiting for the wash and the rust to dry, we can do the eyes. And he's about done at that point. Need to do a little bit of highlight there on the leg hair. That should be easy enough. Alright. Let us wash. How are we gonna wash? We are gonna wash with that one. Use a different wash here, something a bit more matte. I just washed all this metal with a brown wash, or with a black wash, then brought the shine back up. Now I'm hitting it with a brown wash that will take the shine back down, but not as far, and also make it look a little dirty. It's all part of the plan. All right. Let's, while we wait, do a little tiny dry brush here on the fur on the legs. Probably need to do the fur down the back the same way. Yeah. Just a little dry brush there. That looks pretty cool. I'm digging our Minotaur. I'm digging him. Let's do an all-over brown wash. That's non-oil. What did I do with... I'm losing my mind, y'all. There's just some more stuff I want to do this brown wash on. Then I'm going to do the eyes. I need to do some highlight on the loincloth too, I've noticed. I'm practicing. I'm working on my eyes. I actually downloaded this thing that I was going to print. That's just like, it's like a stick, but it's got like a series of faces modeled on it. So it's just for practicing painting faces. I have not been able to print it yet, and will not be able to print it until I get a new hard drive. That looks so much better. Now, a little bit of wash on those bright straps, and now they're textured and they have depth. That looks great. Alright, how are we going to do these eyes? I think, yeah, I want to do some crazy bright eyes. I want them glowing red. That's not enough. A little bit more. Awesome. Glowing red eyes. And we are going to switch to a slightly smaller brush. Let's see. Okay. There we go. I don't know if you guys can see it, but we've got some bright red eyes. Probably brighten that one up a bit. There we go. Glowy red eyes. Lovely. Yeah, that's all I'm doing to the eyes. I was gonna do like maybe like a little glowing light halo around the eyes, but I think that might be just a bit too much. Yeah. All right. What next? I think all I've got left is to re-rust the metal and do like, let's go ahead and do the buckles on the straps, because there are a few buckles, and I'm gonna leave them bright because they're so small. I want them to stand out, so I'm not gonna bother overwashing them. Buckles. Okay. And rust. Focus the rust on the inside area of the axe, and then just kind of feather it out towards the edge, because I'm gonna do some bright silver edge highlight there to really sell the edge. Our rusty boy here. Rusty metal. It looks bright orange on the monitor there, but it's much more subdued in real life. I'll get a good picture and put it up on Instagram later tonight, so you can see like the actual final effort. Okay, next, what are we doing? Okay, I need to do some edge highlights with my crazy bright silver. Actually, before I do that, I have an idea. I have a plan. That's dangerous. Oh, shit. There we go. Happened again. I spilled some paint on the stream. At least it wasn't a lot this time. It wasn't an entire pot of expensive-ass technical paint. Alright. Try that again, shall we? These things are golden. You just pop your pot of paint in there. It holds the lid up, and you cannot knock that fucker over. I need to learn to use them more frequently. Problem is, when I get going, I start moving between paint colors really quickly. And you see that silver edge that I just did? That is hardly visible on my end. The camera really picks that up. And I'm going to do the same thing to his spiky bits here. slightly silver up towards the tip. Like he's been sharpening his spikes. Give him a couple shiny spots on his staff part there. Like he's been blocking sword blows with it. And then we get to the crazy silver. That's too small. That brush is just too small. I'm kind of like, as I'm learning more and more about mini painting, as I'm getting better and better about mini painting, I'm using bigger and bigger brushes. I was a firm believer for a long, long time that if you wanted to paint miniatures, you needed a super tiny brush. But man, it's just so much easier with a bigger brush. Now that sharp edge is really gleaming on my end, at least. I don't know how the camera's picking up that second silver. But it's quite bright over here. That's an axe that'll cut you. And then we just do a little bit of that silver on the front side of the spikes, and a little bit of that silver on the back side of that spikes, them spikes, those spikes, and now he's got sharp pointy bits. And one last thing I want to do, put that back, we'll get to that, is I want to do on his armor an edge highlight in a dark silver. Yeah, I would love a Winsor & Newton or a Raphael 8404. But I'm a poor. And I don't have 20 bucks to drop on a paintbrush. Putting a little bit of shine right on the edge of the armor. Just to bring it a little bit back to life. There. That's good stuff. That's that good. All right, where we at? I think he's about done, actually. Let's see. Where did I do with my new toy? I made a new toy. Now I just need to find it. Right back. 2 seconds. I made this little texture spatula for doing just such things as what I'm going to be doing right now. I am going to make our base here kind of a muddy, gravelly mess. And I'm going to do it entirely with texture paints. So I'm just going to get this little spatula guy and just kind of shove this around. This is Citadel, what is this? Astro Granite. I also have some mud that I'm going to be using, which is essentially the same stuff. There we we go. I'm just going to smear that around on his base. Basically just a thick paint with some grit in it. And then when it dries, I'll wash it. And that will really even bring out that grit even more. I printed this because Games Workshop, Citadel, sells one for like 15 bucks. And it cost me about $1 in resin to print one myself. This is not exactly a new hobby tool. People have been using texture spatulas forever. There we go. There. Nice granite-y base. Yeah. I hear wonderful things about the Winsor Newtons. My buddy John is a pro mini painter. He's a commission painter. And the Series 7 is pretty much all he uses. I think he uses one in... I think he uses a size 1. Or he might use both. I don't know. But he swears by them. And they're definitely on my Christmas list. They're definitely in my Amazon wish list below. I just haven't had the chance or the disposable income to get one just yet. But it's on my list. That little, 3D printed resin spatula, that worked out pretty well. Alright, now I just gotta let him dry, and then pop him off that painting base, and he's done. Our Minotaur. I know we started with the idea that we were gonna paint both those mimics and this Minotaur, but I kind of got caught up in old Moo Boy. Here, and I really, well, you know what? I'm not done. I'm not done. Why'd you let me think I was done? I got to do some highlight on that loincloth. Yeah, the size 1 has always been what has been recommended to me. I know dick about dick, so I can only relay to you the information that has been given to me. And that information came in the form of a British accent saying, Zach, you gotta get a Winsor Newton size 1. Getting all these wrinkles highlight before I start coming down the cloth here. I kind of do want to leave it pretty tattery. So what we're going to do is essentially a dry brush with a brush that is not for dry brushing. I just want that paint on there so thin. Oop, that was too thick. Another reason I like these paints so much is you can use the boop method of error correction. And that is where, oh shit, put paint where I shouldn't have, take my finger and just wipe it off. Called the boop method. Because you boop the miniature. Alright, let's give him some color up here in the front. Make his loincloth red again. Yeah, that's better. Alright, now he's done. Now I'm calling him done. Minotaur, done and done. Once that texture dries, I'll wash it, and then I'll pop him off. He's glued onto this base, but not very well, so I'll pop that off. And I'll have me a Minotaur. I'm pretty happy with him. He came out pretty nice. I'm pretty pleased. I learned some things along the way. Pretty happy. Cool. Minotaur. Awesome. And you know, I keep looking at these mimics, and I'm not feeling them right now. I gotta be honest. I'm just not feeling the mimics right now. Yeah, right? Like, those washes, man. That Army Painter Strong Tone, that's what it was. It was Army Painter Strong Tone. You can get it at most game shops for like $3.50. Where did it go? I had it, and I set it down somewhere. Nope, that's purple. I need purple. I have Dark Tone, and I have Strong Tone. Strong Tone is basically black, but with brown. And Dark Tone is just with black. There it is. Strong Tone. Army Painter Strong Tone. And it's a dark brown. It's real cool. I really like it. He's ready to take some heads. Awesome. Well, I thank you for hanging out and painting some mini with me. But I think I'm going to call it there for the night. I'm going to wrap this up. It's always a pleasure to paint for you guys. I really enjoy doing this. I love it to death. If you want to help my goal of getting my hard drive replaced and repaired so that I can get access to all of my downloaded minis to print, the donation button is in the About section on Twitch. Katie, what are you doing? You just got here? Seriously? Thank you so much, Pius. Oh, what am I doing? What are you doing? I'm painting a mini. I just painted a Minotaur. Katie, what? What is it? Good to see you, Katie. You came right as I was like wrapping things up because I just finished my mini for the night. I'm gonna straighten up my painting area because it's a disaster. What have you been up to tonight, Katie? What kind of malarkey have you been up to? That's entirely the wrong spot. Oh, you've been getting some fancy Abe shots? He is an epic boy. Yeah, we started painting, let's see, we started painting this Minotaur and these two mimics. But then I kind of lost inspiration on the mimics and we just focused on the Minotaur. Got him done. I think he looks pretty cool. Pretty happy with him. I'm going to come back to the mimics some other time. They may, I might paint them on the stream Monday or Tuesday because I'm going to be streaming during the daytime now. Ooh, thanks for the bits. And thanks for the donation, Pius. That's awesome. Thank you so much. You are a champ. That is definitely going to help in the process of getting this dumb hard drive replaced. Cool. Pious excrement. Can I do shout outs? Like, is that a thing? I don't know. I don't know. I've never tried to do a shout out. Pious. No, it didn't work for me either. I guess shout outs just aren't turned on my channel? I don't fucking know. We should probably fix that. Oh. Well. I've been painting. It's just been me and Pius for like, I don't know, like an hour and a half or something. And then all of a sudden my viewer count starts going up right as I'm wrapping up. How malarkey is that? I'll message you. We'll chat. Alright. Thank you guys again so much. This video will be saved on YouTube. It will be up for your perusal and enjoyment. Don't forget, I do need to replace the hard drive that had all of my 3D minis on it that I print to paint on this channel. The hard drive is now dead. I need to replace it, so please consider donating to the donation button in the About section, or the Venmo that keeps scrolling by on the bit under the screen there. And visit the Amazon wish list to find the replacement hard drive that I'm going to get to have, hopefully, have my data restored. I will be back on during the week, at some point during the week, probably Monday, Tuesday, just on and off throughout the week. We'll figure a schedule out as we go. During the daytime, probably starting around noon or 1 to do some mini painting during the day. While the kids are at daycare and Jen is at work, and yeah, so we'll be seeing more Dungeon Brush on Twitch and Facebook and YouTube and anywhere else that I can think to stream it. Thanks for watching, guys. Y'all have a great night. Where's the button that makes it go away?